Kids like Henry need a hero. Courageous, self-sacrificing people, setting examples for all of us. Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught them to hold on a second longer. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride, even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams.
There will never be a point in your time in your life where it's the right time to do a great thing. If you're waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect timing, it's not going to happen. You know what you have to do? You have to create the perfect time and the perfect opportunity and the perfect situation.
Behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
But what if there was a tool that we could identify and that we could plug into that would allow us the ability to unleash our full potential, that would allow us the ability to step into a new way of being and a new way of showing? You know, what we're going to do here tonight is we're going to take a look at identity. You know, Tony says that identity is the most powerful force in human nature. What would happen if you chose in this moment to shift your identity and then made a commitment to stick with that choice no matter what? What would happen if we were to take a different identity, a more powerful, a more empowered, a more loving, a more committed, a more thorough, a more whatever you feel as though you're missing, and we injected that into where you're at now? How would you show up differently if you had a different identity in your body? You know, as me and Lynn were talking about what we were going to do tonight, I was looking back and I was like, you know, it's 2018. Let's do a review. Let's look forward. Let's do this. And then as you know, Lynn's like, well, let's do a goal setting. It's a great idea. We started looking at goal setting. Well, when you go out on the internet in January and you look for goal setting and you look for, you know, how to really, you know, set your stage for what you're doing in 2018, there's a lot of people out there doing some pretty phenomenal things around goal setting. And I thought, well, I don't want to be blue on black. I don't want to be tears on a river like the song, right? I want to offer real value. And I thought to myself, what's something more empowering? Well, I was watching Tony. Tony was on Dr. Oz, and he was facilitating. This lady had stepped up, and she had a difficulty with her finances. She was having trouble. She said she'd been trying for years to get out of debt, and she was constantly in debt and just couldn't figure out how to get debt free. And Tony said, you know, the first thing you need to do is you need to shift your identity. You know, you are, and he had done some facilitation, and what it boiled down is that she, from an identity standpoint, she was a consumer and not an owner. And really, when we look at why we fail, when I look at, you know, how many times have you gone to a seminar or made a goal or made a New Year's resolution or picked up a skill or ability and never used it? right? Well, what do we want to do in 2018 is we want to prepare to pull the identity out of us that allows us the ability to be in control and step through and transform and become something bigger, right? Because once we take on the identity of that thing that we want to become, eventually the rest of the world around us will line up behind us. Right? It's this constant feeling as though you need to become and feeling as though you need this, then you need this, then you need this, instead of identifying who you need to become and working towards that, and then allowing you, and I'm not suggesting to you that you shouldn't be setting goals. I'm not suggesting to you that we don't need to have a clear path to get where we're going. What I'm suggesting is let's add a deeper layer. Let's become that which we want to become. And then step through that and then allow that to drive the goals. Because when you do that, the goals will become much easier to accomplish. They'll become much more thorough. They become much more impactful. And the reality is, I think that, like the video that I showed earlier today, I think that when I look at the world, I think people are more interested in having an experience of life than they are being, having this successful life. Right, having this fulfilling, meaningful life. More so we want to experience life. And when I choose to take on the identity that I want to take on, then I'm choosing how I'm going to experience my world. Most people, when you look at, go back in and look at how you formed your identity. Where did you get your identity from? Those decisions that said, I am this, I am going to be known for this, I struggle with this, I don't want to do this. Where did you pick that up? And when you go back and look, most people you'll find picked up their identities unconsciously, either through, some kind of a lesson they learned at the kitchen table or hanging around their friends. And usually those friends were just proximity, right? The people that we grew up around. They weren't like Tony, where you pick your friend, love your family, pick your friends kind of thing. It was more of a, these are the people that are around me. These are the people that we get along with. And then I just started to take on their identity as my own. Remember, take the 6 people you hang out with most, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, right? That's you. Well, what is that? When we take the 6 people you hang out with most, that's you, that's your identity. So let's take that power back on this call, on this session. Today, you're going to take that power back. We're going to build a ramp. We're going to break this conversation into 4 sections. And what we're going to do is we're going to systematically walk through and identify areas where we are not where we want to be, or we don't show up the way we want to show up, and identify where we want to show up. And then we're going to make some different decisions, and we're going to set some different standards and maybe some different goals. And so as we walk through this, what you'll notice is that each section is broken down by video. And I thought that we'd try something a little more entertaining, bring something. I got a face made for radio, maybe bring somebody better looking on. So as we get started, ask yourself, what is identity to me? Right? And if you should have a piece of paper out. I want you to have a notebook out. I want you to have rooms where you can move around as we start to step into this next stage and really start to understand who we are and how we're showing up in the world and how we really want to show up. I want you to have the ability to do, say, or act any way you want to do, say, or act, because this is your opportunity to step forward and to step into something different.